I have a problem with you. You're nasty. Hey, hello, and welcome or welcome back, I suppose. As you might be able to tell, I've done a little bit of batch filming today. I mean, I've actually started filming 3 videos. I filmed... This is the 3rd video I have filmed today. But one of those you're not going to see for a good long while. It is an intro for a long video. I am being stared at by my cat. You alright, Lily? Okay. She has a very distinct glare and it is quite disarming. Anyway, but because I have been batch filming, I just wanted to point out, for the same reason that I am not doing my makeup, that I didn't do my makeup in the Imperfect Art of Caring video, I'm also not going to be doing it for this one because allergies. I don't know how well they'll show up, but I'm a bit red at the minute and I've got a couple of marks and that, so yeah, and I can't take antihistamines because they knock me out. So let's get on with it. Today we're talking about a book which is apparently something that has been doing well on TikTok at the minute. I only found that out because I'd seen it in my library after getting it on BorrowBox in a section dedicated to TikTok. So who knows, maybe this will hit some kind of algorithm and do well for me. I doubt it. But today we're going to be talking about One Last Stop by Casey McQuiston. And I picked this book up because I wanted to read some queer fiction. Look, sometimes your boy needs it. I thoroughly enjoyed this book, but I'm not sure if it's one of my favourites. So I have in my what I've read this year book, like I've got like a noted list. Next to ones that I'm like pretty sure are going to be my favourites, I've got a little star next to them. But with this one, I have a star and a little question mark after it because I'm not sure. And I can't put my finger on what it is that is stopping me from fully putting this in the favourites category, because I did really enjoy the book. I mean, there was one thing in particular that really put me off, but I think some people would still enjoy the book despite that, but for me it did put me off a little bit, and that's, I need to explain the plot a little bit, which I don't usually do, but because I feel like most people come to my channel when they're like, either because they know me or because they've been looking for a book, like a review of a book, so you already kind of know what it's about. Hello? Are you coming down? You can do it, I believe in you. I don't know if you're going to get her. Hi. No. Ow, ow, ow. Okay, fine, I will put you down. And most people come to me either because they already know me or because they were searching for a review of a book that they're already interested in. Therefore, they don't really need a blurb because they're probably just thinking, oh, this book looks interesting, but let's see what other people have to say about it, kind of thing. But to give context of what I'm about to talk about, I do need to talk about plot a little bit. So basically, we have our lead character taking the subway every day to and from work. And at one point, she meets this girl who just seemed incredible to her, and it's like that moment. We've all had it. We've been on public transport and seen somebody and like created a bit of a like, oh my god, I think I'm in love with you, but I'm never going to see you again. Except in her case, she does see her again on repeat, and it starts to feel a bit strange, and it turns out that this other girl was basically fallen out of time. She's actually from the 70s. That's not a spoiler. I knew that before going. I don't know if I knew that it was she was from the 70s, but the fact that she's fallen out of time is a known thing before you go in, so that's not a spoiler. But basically, minor spoiler. She can't leave the train. Can't the love interest. Why do names always fail me? Jane, our 70s love interest. She can't leave the train. And at some point, once they have established that they're into each other... Actually, no, it's not even when they've established that they're into each other. Multiple times, they kiss on the train. And, like, and not just like a little bit of a kiss, like making out on the subway. And I'm like, that's gross. Like, there are other people on there. Like, like, that's full that's not like a little bit of a, snuggling into somebody, or just like a little kiss on the cheek, or even just like a little smooch. No, they're making out, and it's gross. Even when they're, like, completely alone, like, they set up this, like, date kind of thing at 3 a.m. at one point, so there's nobody else on the train, and they're, like, fully making out. I think that's the point where they actually sleep together. Not 100% sure. I don't care that there aren't other people on there. Sorry. I don't care that there aren't other people on that train. It's gross. For a start, the rats are watching. You're in New York. Also, there are definitely cameras in that train. You're being watched. And also, the trains are so grimy and dirty, and it's just like, ugh, gross. This is the big reason why this book probably won't be on one of my favourites lists, because this thing really bothered me, because it happens a lot. And it's like, a little bit of PDA. Fine. This, not fine. Not fine at all. It really bothered me. Ugh. And I'm sure for some people, them being a little bit scandalous in public is like one of the draws. For me, no, I could not think. Or perhaps some people have that thing, because I've had it sometimes when I'm reading a book, where you forget that where they are when a moment like that is happening, and then you're brought back into it. You're like, oh, that was a bit much for being in public or something. But you kind of can't forget with this, because there's so much of it based on a train. That's kind of the crux of it. And you're just expecting me to forget or be okay with the fact that they're hooking up or making out on a filthy, dirty, grimy train, sometimes with other passengers just looking on. I remember that at one point, there's this, like, old lady giving them the evils, which I would be too. I'm with the old lady in this one. And I think it's Jane looks at her and goes, have you got a problem? Or something like that. Like, she's trying to be, like, confrontational about it. And I think you're meant to be with Jane on this one, because I think it's meant to be like, oh, the old lady's looking at them because they're lesbians, or because I think I can't remember the protagonist's name, but I think she's bi. So we have two women loving women here, and it's like, no, that's not why they're staring at you. She's staring at you because you're gross. I'm with the old lady. I have a problem with you. You're nasty. Overall, though, I thought this book was brilliant. I really liked how magic was used. Sorry. Yeah, I really like throughout how magic is used. We have a character who is psychic. It's really bringing out the best versions of magical realism, because a lot of the time when magical realism is used, I'm pretty sure that's the right phrase, where you've got, like, magic being used, but in a more kind of urban, mundane setting rather than a more sort of fantasy setting, right? Like, you've got Lord of the Rings, that's just fantasy, but then can't think of something off the top of my head, but like, yeah, normal people world, no obvious fantasy setting, there are just magical elements, right? That's what's going on with this book, and I really like that it's very seamless, because it doesn't feel like you have... I think my issue with magical realism is that it often feels like you have ordinary location magic, and they don't... But in this, they... And so do the love interests on a train, and it's gross. Anyway, I shouldn't talk about it. I think it's nasty. Oh. It really is something that's played on me with this book, and I really think that is the reason that I don't want to put it in my favourites. Because because don't get me wrong, like I said, I did genuinely really enjoy the book. It's really up my street. You know, messing with time stuff, and like, you've got good queer fiction, which obviously... Really enjoyed this book. Probably not going to be one of my favourites. Maybe I'll change my mind by the end of the year. It probably depends on how much I remember of the nasty, nasty train make-out sessions. Because I'm certainly not going to be forgetting them anytime soon. And it's like, they're not badly written scenes. They're not like grossly described or anything like that. But... And like, they don't have that like... Oh, I don't want to be reading this. It just feels a bit icky. It just is it's a location problem. I feel like it's a lack of awareness for the most part from the characters, that they're like not aware that they're in public. And it's like, I get that your entire relationship is on a train, but have you considered not being fucking gross? Trains are nasty. Especially underground trains. Ew. Gross. Stop it. Anyway, look. I should wrap this up. It's a great fun book. If you can overlook certain aspects of it. It's a great fun. I do recommend it. I do genuinely think that I would read it again. Maybe skipping over certain parts. But, yeah. If this is a book that you've perhaps seen, if you are somebody who is on Book Talk, and this is something that you've seen and been curious about, I definitely think it's worth giving it a go. Like I said, I found the audiobook on BorrowBox, and there was a physical copy at my library, so I'm sure you'll be able to get your hands on it somehow. So, yeah, I hope you have a wonderful day, a wonderful night, a wonderful whenever you are watching this. Take care of yourselves. Right.